Hello, vinyl community. It's Matt here again. Just a real quick video. Today's the day, the 50th anniversary edition of the Beatles' Abbey Road. I had this delivered today. I pre-ordered it a few weeks ago from Amazon. And this is sort of kind of a first impressions. I'd just given it a spin for the first time. I listened to the whole album all the way through. But before I talk about that, let's just have a real quick look at the package. And actually, it's not really much to look at. There's the vinyl. The classic iconic Apple label right there. And the funny thing is that if I took the shrink off, which I don't intend to do, but if I would have removed the shrink, then that would mean that this blue sticker would disappear, and you would not be able to tell very easily what pressing this was. Unlike the Sgt. Pepper and White album editions, it does not say that this is the anniversary remix, because those two both said on the side, like anniversary version or something to that effect. This doesn't. This just says Abbey Road, the Beatles, which I think is the same as the original pressing. Yeah, it is. So I do have two other copies of Abbey Road. This is an 80s pressing, but of course it's the original mix. And I have a Mobile Fidelity SoundLab pressing as well. Now, the Mo-Fi version in particular is a fantastic sounding record. It really is. But the 2019 version gives it a little bit of a run for its money. There are pros and cons to both. I think the instrument separation is better on the Mo-Fi version, but the anniversary edition is more bass heavy. And, that's not always a good thing. Sometimes we get a bit obsessed with with pounding bass. But I think in this case, it really brings out some of the songs. So, like, I Want You, She's So Heavy is an extremely bass-heavy song. And I think by bringing out that bass, it really enhances that song to some extent. I think the mix of Here Comes the Sun is fantastic on here, and in that one I do hear a couple of little things that I didn't detect in the certainly in the original mix. What I was most impressed by were two things. Actually, you can find this funny. Maxwell's Silver Hammer, which I know is a song that gets a lot of hate. I know. Honestly, I think half of that is because people think that John Lennon didn't like it, and so therefore they're not going to like it. It's I think it's a decent song. It's not the best song on the album. It's not McCartney's best work, but it's a decent song. But that aside, the mix of it here is fantastic. It just comes alive again. I think a lot of it is by bringing up some of the lower frequencies, like the bass. It really kind of jumps out at you, and also the final sort of a trilogy with Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight in the end. That I didn't kind of get the sense that the bass was heavier, although it may be. But what really struck me was the orchestral pieces. Early on, once there was a way to get back homeward, and the orchestra kicks in, and I kind of sat upright. I was like, oh wow, that's I don't know if it's been brought up further in the mix. It sounds like it maybe has a tiny bit, but I was kind of blown away by that. It just almost like listening to that song for the first time. So I would definitely recommend this. Now, I cheaped out. I cheaped out even more than you may know. Not only did I just get the single album release, but from Amazon, I even had a credit on Amazon, so I only actually ended up paying $4 for this because of the credit. But I would definitely recommend it. I can't speak for the super duper ultra wonderful deluxe version that's about $90. I was not prepared to pay that much, a little too rich for my blood. And I did the same thing with the Sgt. Pepper and White album remixes in 2017 and 2018. I just got the albums. I do not have the extra records with all of the different takes and the outtakes and etc. etc. And partly that's because of cost, but also because I stream music through Tidal, and they have all the extra stuff. They have the albums available to stream, including all of the extras. So I just think I can stream it if I really wanted to. I can copy them to mini disc or cassette. So I just couldn't justify, when you take into account the three albums, so Sgt. Pepper, the White Album, and Abbey Road, I mean, it would be like an extra $250 or something if I if I wanted to plump for all the extra goodies. So a little too rich for my blood, but I totally get why some people might do that. And also, space is a little bit of a premium now with the records, and the deluxe sets just would take up a little too much space. So I'm still very happy with getting this. One tiny, not that this really matters, but one tiny little interesting thing. So the label on mine is on the right side. I saw some people posting on Instagram earlier. Their label was on the other side. It doesn't matter. I just thought that was kind of a interesting little tidbit of information. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Even if you're only going for just the album, the cheap option like I did, it's still only like $20 or something, $21, $22 on Amazon, something like that. And I think it's even if you already have the album, like I said, several of the songs, it's almost like a brand new listening experience. It really is. It's a lot heavier with the bass, but I like that. I did. It was a very nice way to listen to the album. So that's it. That's kind of my quick and dirty review. And thank you guys as always for watching. And until next time, bye bye.